Yeah, me too, but the only fetch related questions left for me.
There is a question with reduce. I think 2 or 3 of them that I was not able to do. Otherwise, everything was okay for me.
Azamat?
Yes.
Yeah, I have a problem. I think it's okay when I try to run, even console log with just string to check. I see some problem with syntax, and I couldn't find this mistake anywhere. It's like in the end of code, like, but I didn't find anything there. Can you just take a look?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you share your screen?
Thank you. Okay. Okay, it's right here. So you can see, let me just console log something.
Oh yeah. Don't work on that. So this is my question. Okay, don't look at the question right now. That one.
No, it's not here. Actually, I was okay. Let me just find. I was here. Okay.
I was not
I was,
supposed to get the last question. I mean, I was gonna ask the question to you.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
When I try to run, I see here unexpected end of input, and I don't know what is it.
Give me 1 second. Okay, so 1 second. Okay, cool. So what does that say? Unexpected end of input. It says 552. Can you look at the 552 line?
Okay.
552.
It's the last line, I think. 550. Yeah, it's right here.
Can you refresh the page now?
Okay. Let me just
Refresh the
here.
Yeah, yep, the whole page.
Okay.
Browser then.
Will my code be here? Okay. Let me just run.
You forked it?
I don't know. I never tried to refresh. Yes, my code is here. So here still what is it? Home runner practice high order function 52.
Yeah. Don't worry about that right now. We can just go over really quick and see if there's any issues with that. Okay. You can delete the last question.
This last day from here from here.
From here, yeah, from there. Because I was gonna ask that question to you guys anyway.
Yeah, let me just check it again. What 17 something like
Yeah, I think up in there you're missing some sort of a parenthesis or a comma or something is wrong with your function. That's the complaining about it.
but why line 517 is strange.
Yeah, it says 517, but at
It's
some
like
point you're missing something in there.
Okay, it happened only with when I tried to console log last. Oh, one is okay. This is close here. This one close here, and this. Okay, I will check again my code. Thank you. I just don't wanna take your time. Okay.
Okay, cool. If you guys tried it and then about to finish it, that's great, awesome, good job on that. But for those who are still trying to understand how the hardware function works, we can go over one more time. Okay. For the first question, given an array of objects, this is the easiest one, right? We just console log it and single line of code. Users. Okay, users one that map it. Returns a new array with only the names of each object. Okay, so map returns exact same amount of length, right? Exact same amount of data, the length of the original data, right? It has to be matching. So user's length is matching with the mapped version of users one, right? The output of this map returns an array, and that length of that array should be matching with the original array. So what do we do? Map u, and we just return u that name. That's it. You guys already got that one already, right? So what about the next one? Given array of objects, write a function that returns a new array with only the objects whose completed property is true. Same thing. Write a function. Okay, so we're going to be using what? Filter. Okay, and then we just say completed. Now, with the filter, as I was saying, if this return part is true, it will keep the whole object, the whole data. It will return the whole data. If it is false, it will just skip it. Right? Since these guys have true, 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 that's why it's returning the whole object. Okay, this one, objects where the function returns the total amount of money for all the objects. Now, what am I going to use for this one?
Reduce.
Reduce, right? I'm going to use reduce. So it should be a single line of code again. I'm going to move these guys right here and change it to reduce. And we have accumulator and current. Arrow function down there. So don't forget about what? Initial value for the accumulator. You can call it whatever you want. Okay, and we can say return accumulator plus. Now we have for the users have what? Money, right? But this money is a string that contains a $sign. So we need to grab the number side. There's multiple options that you can do that. Okay, but one of the easiest one is just slice that string. So you can either use number to convert that sliced number back to number, or you can just put a plus sign in front. Okay, but before we put the plus sign, let's just see current dot money dot slice 1. Basically, I'm grabbing from starting index 1 and the remaining until the end. So as soon as I grab it, this is still a string. Now I need to convert it back to number. I can either put plus sign, as I was saying, or just use a number constructor. Both of them should work fine. Right, 3,000. Well, the short version would be we just single line of code to remove these curly braces and return 3,000. All right, what about this one? Given an array of strings, return a new array with the length of each string. This is also the easiest one. It's asking for return a new array with the length of each string. Basically, it's a map. Okay, it's a map. Strings that map str, right, for the string, and return str.length. That's it. Given an array of strings, return a new array with the first letter of each string capitalized and the rest in lowercase. Now, while I was checking the rooms last Monday, people were working on this one, and then I saw the solutions. It's perfect solutions, as always. So what do I do for this one? Return an array with the rest with the first letter of each string, right? It still needs to be mapped because we are looking for each data inside our array. So str, and what we are trying to return, str that char at 0, right? We're trying to capitalize at the first letter of each item, right? Character is 0, that we're just trying to convert to uppercase, right? Okay, so the first string is converted to uppercase. Now we just need to concatenate with the rest of the string. The same way we did slicing down here, we do the same thing. str.slice 1. Apple, banana, cherry. All right. Given an array of objects representing people, return a new array with the full names of each person. Again, it's asking for each person. We're going to say people dot map again. Okay. So let's just call it P person and P dot first name plus, you guys can put the space in between, and plus P dot last name. Oops. John Doe, Jane Doe, and Bob Smith. Okay. Given an array of objects representing products, return a new array with the name and the price of each product, formatted as string, like this. Okay, same thing. We'll just grab this guy right here and put it down here. Instead of people, just put products. Map it, and P is for product. So now we can just do it's going to be P dot name, right? And dash and a dollar sign, another dollar sign with the curly braces for our variable, and P dot price. Okay, that is that question. Given an array of numbers, return the average of all the numbers. This is also a very interesting question. Oops. All right, so return the average of all the numbers. So as soon as it says return the total of the numbers or average of numbers or sum of the numbers, what do we use usually? We usually use reduce. Okay, if it's asking among this data or data array of objects, if it's asking for sum of the ages or the prices or the quantities, or it's asking for the average, try to use reduce. Accumulator, current is for the item, and arrow function down here, not excess, accumulator. Okay, so what do I do now? How do I find the average of all the numbers? So average, as you guys know, is the sum of all the numbers divided by what? The length of array.
Numbers, oh yeah.
The length of array. Cool. So don't forget about the initial value for the accumulator. Initially, we can start from 0, and as we add up, we'll try to find the sum. Okay, so we can return as a return value. We can say accumulator. Okay, and plus the current is every single number. We can divide this current by numbers that linked. Now, why I didn't do this one? Why first I get the sum and then divide by numbers with that length?
Can you
Now,
please repeat the question?
The question is, can I do this one? Accumulator plus current, first of all, plus in parentheses, and then divide those by numbers that length. If I do this one, Am I gonna get the
In the-
same as this way? This guy right here?
No, it's two different numbers.
It's same. Looks all the same.
So you guys
Because-
think it's the same? Some people say
No, it's different.
why it's gonna be different? Who can tell me?
It's different,
Because-
yes.
The in parentheses, we will do.
Division is gonna be first. And
It's
Yeah.
the order of the
Yeah.
operations, plus and then dividing.
All right, cool. So basically, when we first of all, the numbers, right? Let's assume that oops, no, forget about it. So the length is 15, right? 1 through 15. The length of the array is 15. Now, we can do like this, right? 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus etc. Until the end, right? Plus 15 divided by 15. That's how we get the average. Okay. Now this also means 1 divided by 15 plus 2 divided by 15 plus 3 divided by 15 plus until the end, right? 15 divided by 15, and we'll get the what? The average. You guys agree, right? Basically, we're just taking out this parenthesis and putting as each the average, right? What we are so if you do this one right here, which means that now every time in the loop when we return it, we're returning this value as an accumulator. Okay, in the first loop we say okay 0 plus whatever the number current 1, right, divided by 15. Now 0 plus 1 divided by 15 becomes accumulator. Now in the next one for the first example, we're doing this. In the first round, let me do this one first. In the first round, we say 0 plus 1 because accumulator is 0 and divided by 15. Okay. Now in the next round, this is accumulator, the result of accumulator. Okay. But in the next round, we say, okay, now get this one right here, right? Put it inside because that's the accumulator, right? Plus 2 in this case. Now in the next round, it becomes a 2 right here. And now we're dividing it by 15. See where it's going right here? We're dividing 15 and we're dividing 15 again. But in this case right here, what we are doing in the second option? In the second option, we said, okay, 0 plus 1 divided by 15. And that's the result of accumulator. In the next round, this 1 divided by 15, which becomes, right, basically 0 plus 1 divided by 15 plus 2 divided by 15. Now this definitely makes sense compared to this one right here, right? So we will get completely different answer if we do this way right here, parentheses. And then that's going to be wrong answer. And it will be very close to 1, right? If I run this function now, see, it's going to be 1.066 something. That's not the answer we're looking for. The answer we're looking for is this guy right here. Accumulator plus current divided by numbers 1.length. That's going to be 8.
Yeah, Azamat, I tried this, that first one, it didn't work. But I divided for the function outside of the function, and it worked for me.
Okay, yeah. That's fine too, yeah, but it's with the
Yeah, but it's good to know this. Yeah, this version. Yeah, because I tried inside, it didn't work for me. But yeah, I was putting everything in the parentheses. Okay, that's why.
All right, so single line of code again. Given an array of objects representing orders, return the total cost of all the orders. As you guys remember, total cost. Same thing. What do I use? Let me just copy this guy right here. Reduce, right? Same thing. That's why I say, guys, practice a lot this reduce, because you guys will be using it in multiple places. So reduce and return the total cost of all the orders. Accumulator plus current dot price. Remove this constant log. Okay. Accumulator plus current dot price. That's the answer. So what about this books?
Teacher? Yeah, we just had the second part of test.
What was the question? All right, since I put the books down here, let
Yeah,
me.
second part of task, like group, we need to divide by group.
Are you talking to me like a second part of task? Which one was that?
Yeah, the previous task.
Question 6, right?
Group by product.
Yeah, what do we do here?
Yeah, it should return the name of the products and then price.
Oh, wait a minute. Return the total cost of all the orders, and then
Group by product. It should apple, banana, cherry.
thank you so much for that. Yeah, sorry for that. I didn't look at the second part. Given an array of objects representing orders, return the total cost of all the orders, group it by product. Return the total cost of all the orders, right? We need to return the total cost of all the orders, which is the total of prices. At the same time, we need to do what? Group it by product. How do I group by product?
With the hash map.
Well, I think, maybe somehow I removed this the second part, right? It says group it by product, but this guy is not related to the grouping though, right? Because when we return a total cost, we'll just get only single number, and group it by product. With the hash map, you guys, yeah, I mean, we can definitely do check, right? Oh, you guys are looking for like oh, it's not asking for all the prices. I think it's asking for sorry about that. So the object, right? And then as a property, apple, and then grab all the apples, the total, maybe just make it 1, right? 0.5, just 1. Is that the question, I guess? Banana.
Yep,
And-
yep. It should return four items with the numbers.
Okay. Then what do we do here? All right, so it should be easy, right? So instead of right here, what we can do here, instead of give me 1 second, one more curly braces. Instead of 0, we need to return an object. And right here, we can have if statement. If for the accumulator, of course, right? Accumulator is the object. We can check if accumulator that has own property, okay, has own property. Now we need to check what? Current dot product. Okay, current dot product. The current is each object. Now current dot product. Do we have apple? Right? If it returns it true, what am I gonna do? Do accumulator current dot product. Okay. In this case, it's referring to what? Apple. Let's say object contains Apple already. In that case, accumulator current dot product. Okay. We can assign accumulator current dot product. We can do plus equal to the price. Current dot price. Right? If it exists, right? Then grab the current dot price and just make it increase it. If it doesn't exist, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna just copy this guy right here. Just put that value as the current price. And I can return accumulator. Okay. As you guys can see now, we have the answer. So object contains Apple. Apple is 1 because 0.5 plus 0.5 is 1. And the banana, 0.25 plus 0.25 is 0.5. Is
But
this
the price we need to maybe multiply by quantity, because prices has to be the same.
what was the
my apples are returning 2.5. So it should be price multiplied for
Quantity.
quantity.
Yeah.
2 times.
yeah.
In this case, 2 times.
We
Because
can
you have
just
two
current
items.
price multiply by the number.
We can definitely do that, yes. Current price multiplied by current dot quantity. Do the same thing for this guy right here. 2.5, 4.5, share 6,
Yeah.
what more?
Yeah, I have same numbers.
Cool. Okay, so give me 1 second, guys. Give me 1 second. All right, sorry about that. Given an array of objects representing books, create a new array with only the books published in the last 5 years. Then calculate the total number of pages for those books.
Yeah, Azamat, in this exercise, we need to take at least 10 years because so if you do 5 years, it's going to be just one book.
You want to change to 10 years?
Yeah, because otherwise it's only one book.
Okay. So how did you guys compare, like get the difference, make it bigger than or less than 10 based on this year? So it's asking, basically it's asking compared to this year, right? In 2024. So basically what I need to do is here 2024 minus, for instance, this year right here, right? 1951, and check with only the books published in the last 10 years. So this guy, whatever the result has to be what? Whatever the result has to be, less than and equal to 10. Let's assume it's not equal right now, but if it is equal and less than 10, then we can keep those results. But the question is, how do I find? Can I put comment in there? How do I find this year right here? I mean, if you put manually, right, 2024, what happens? We would like to make sure that the code that we write works for all the years, right? Whether you wrote this code in 2020. Now, basically, let's say that we're running that code again this year. That code should be running for this year too. We need to create a code that runs for all the years that we are trying to get the result for this data, for this question. Okay, but how do I, instead of putting the years manually every time I would like to run, every year I would like to run this code, how do I try to find this code right here, this number? Now we do
Yeah, I
have,
think we can use date, right?
exactly, we do have a thing called date. Okay, so if you put new date, it will show you today's date. All right, so this date, right after that, we can put this date object contains a lot of methods that belongs to it, right? For instance, get month, right? It will get month, get time, for instance. It will get the time and get milliseconds, etc. It will get the time and whatever you would like to get. There's a method for that. One of the methods is also called get full year, right? Whether you are in 2020, 21, doesn't matter. This will get the year for that date and then provide you with that date. So what I was trying to say is that instead of putting manually, we can use this one, get the full year. And then whatever we would like to subtract it and try to find the answer. Okay. So basically it says that books published in the last 10 years. What am I gonna do now? What is it exactly saying? This part right here. Before we do this one, what about this part? It's asking basically filter it out, right? Basically filter. So, oh, let me bring this books up in there because I will not be able to use books. Okay, so books that filter first. B for book. All right, so we can say if new date, first date, that get full, see that? Get date, get day, get full year, get hours, minutes, month, seconds. We have a lot of methods that belongs to date object. And now the thing we need to get full year. Right? It will return us 2024. And we can say minus book that instead of book, it's B that year. And we'll try to compare this one. If it is less than or equal to 10, then what? Return that B. Okay, return that B. Now for the filter, we just don't need this whole thing over here, right? To short it out, we can just grab this condition right here. If this one is true, it will return that B itself automatically. Now we have two items, two books. Now we can chain them, right? We can chain these right after the filter, we can, instead of creating a new variable and then run reduce or whatever hardware function we would like to run for that variable, we can just chain these functions together. Now, what am I going to then calculate the total number of pages for those books? Total number of pages for those books. Pages 303, 197. So basically, reduce. Accumulator, current, and then right here, we need to put 0 for our initial value. It did put excess again. Accumulator, and now accumulator plus current that pages. Now it's the total is 500 pages.
Yeah, we also need to return the names of the books.
So calculate the total number of pages for those books. Where's the name?
Yeah, then calculate, but that's the second part. Create a new array with only the books published in the new. This is
Yes.
the first part.
Create a new array with only the books published in the last 10 years, right?
Mhm.
And then calculate the total number of pages for those books. We did filter out, right? These guys, and then we just got the total pages.
Okay.
500. Do you see names? I don't see names.
Yeah, I mean it says a new array with books. Yeah, but yeah, I did the same, but yeah, I just added this filter one more time to get the names of the two books and then this page.
So you did filter and then you did another filter?
Yeah, just so one filter to get the books and another filter to get the page.
But you don't need another filter to get the pages though.
So yeah, okay, but from this assignment, I thought that it's two parts.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, instead of filter, I think once you get the pages, right, objects, array of objects, you can map it and then get the pages. Right? When you map it, you will just get an array of just pages, and then you can run the reduce, or you can just run the reduce directly on this array of objects. What about this guy? Given an array of objects representing products, console log the name and price of each product. So it says console log, right? Of course, doesn't mean anything, but console log the name and the price of each product. What you guys can tell from this one? Which one is the best suits for this one? We're not trying to get a new array. We're not trying to get anything in return. We're just trying to console log the name and price of each product. That's it.
Like for each.
Exactly. For each, there's for each is the only hardware function that returns what? Nothing. It returns undefined, but it's just we just don't need that. Okay, products to that for each. Let's just say P, and it's just asking for console.log P that name and P that price. Then create a new array with only the prices. Then create a new array with only the prices. I think we did it multiple times already, right? Products to that what? Map P that price. Right? Students. Given an array of objects representing students, calculate the average age of all the students. Now, we already have the average calculation, right? So we're going to be doing the same thing. Do I still, oh my goodness, I don't have the console log. Console.log students one that reduce accumulator current value, and just like we did the average for the previous example, what we're going to do, accumulator plus current value divided by students one dot length.
Yeah, you need to use current age.
Oh, you're right. Yes, current dot age. Yep. Thank you so much for that. And then don't forget the initial value for the accumulator. 27.8 is the average age for these guys. If any of the students is older than 50, constant log. We have some really old people in the class. All right, cool. So what do you guys think is the best fit for this question? Which higher order function?
Even high.
We can,
Every and we have some.
right. So we can also use for each, right? But it's gonna be a little bit longer. Students one that for each st for student. Okay, and right over here we can compare and console.log. And when we compare it, we can say student dot age is bigger than 50. Right?
Well, I use some like that.
Yes, some definitely works. Which undefined it is? Why it says undefined?
For each.
For each. Cool. Thank you. So instead of using this for each, we can also use students one dot sum. St dot age bigger than 50. And what's the output of sum?
Boolean.
Boolean, true or false. Exactly. Now, based on this one right here, right? I can assign this output to a new variable and then make run if else statement, or I can just directly do what? And operator.
Oh, how did you connect just with and? If it's true, I don't understand how you get.
So if it's true, right? True, and let's say
Yeah, it's even not equal question sign like if condition.
yes, you don't have to put the if condition. If you like to put if condition, then you can just
I got it. Just first time I see this method. These syntaxes.
this and operator. You guys are seeing it in the first time.
In my case, yes.
Yeah, I think we only used the Turner apparatus before, but yeah, I'm also seeing
Very-
first time this and
Very simple and easy. And
yeah,
comfortable.
it's cool. Yeah, it looks like if it's true, it's gonna
Yeah.
show the right part, right? If it's true.
Exactly, yeah. So
Okay.
true and false, based on the true and false, right?
Mhm. And
If it's
yeah,
true, if it's true and true, it is always true. If it's true and false, right? If it's true and false, then it will nullify it, right? And then it becomes false. Or
is
false.
this so Azamat, is this so saying true because it's string, right? On the console log.
Yes.
Is it
The
okay?
basically showing the right side, okay? Because this side is true,
Mhm.
and this side is also basically console log. It's not a false value. That's why it's just console logging.
True.
What we will
Mm.
display. But what about this guy right here? Or operator. You guys saw this one, right?
Yeah.
Remember local storage? If we don't have local storage,
Mhm.
then I'm using empty array. Okay, just like that. If it's true or true, it's always true. But what happens if I say true or false? It's also true. True or false is true. We can use this AND
Mhm.
comparison operator and
No, so the both of Sam and console log is true, right? Both of them. And after that, he is returning. I really
when you use it's basically we can say it's to true value. Okay, it's not false value,
Yeah, it's
right?
true.
Console log. But the thing about an AND operator is that if this side is true, right?
Mhm.
Usually it will display this side. Okay, but if this side is false value, then it will compare, but it's still comparing it. Okay, this we can assume that this console log is true to value, right? It's not false value. But what happens if I do true and zero? True and zero.
Zero. Wow.
It is still zero. What happens if I do empty string or empty zero? It is still zero. It's taking the right side.
Okay, okay. It's very cool.
What about this question? Same thing. If any of the students is younger than 18, less than 18. Instead of old, just change to young. What about this one? All. It's a keyword for all. If all of the students are older than 18, console.log, everyone is old enough. And it's going to be what?
Every.
Just change this one to every. Older than, okay, older than 18. Then we can say everyone is old enough.
And the first condition is false. Should be false.
Okay, so because
It's
we don't have,
Yeah.
give me 1 second. If all the students are older than 18, console log, everyone is old enough. So every single one of them is, do we have Oh, yeah, you're right. Because of the 16, yes, you're right. Because of the 16, that's why. Let's just change this. Maybe let's just make it 15, right?
It's interesting. What if it's false? Yeah, how does it will work? Will it work?
Well, for the false,
Yeah, if
for
it's the
value,
first,
it will return false, right? Let's say it's return false, right? It doesn't matter what's on the right side, and it's return false.
just first part.
Yeah, but the fact that we're not console logging the whole thing, that's why we don't see that's why we don't see false value here.
Okay.
Console logging it. The same process. It's going to be less than 60. Given an array of numbers, calculate the sum of all the even numbers. Okay. This is the thing you guys did it already. Let me grab my console log. So what do I do here? Calculate the sum of all numbers. As I was saying, if it says sum, then we need to use reduce. Accumulator, current, function, and don't forget about initial value as 0. So we can put if statement down here. Okay, if as I put down here right here, bitwise operator, or as you guys know, we can use the modulo, right? So let's say 20 modulo 2 for even numbers, it will always return 0. For odd numbers, modulo 2 will return 1. So right here, it's asking for all the even numbers. Calculate sum of all the even numbers. So we can say not current modulo 2. Okay, as I was saying, because every single even number will return 0, and not 0 means what? Not 0 means true. So that's why we put if right here. This will come true for all even numbers, and we'll just run it, this guy over here. Basically, accumulator is equal to accumulator plus current, and can return accumulator. $56. Right? So, or we have a bitwise. The bitwise comparison, right? Bitwise AND operator. For the odd numbers, right? For odd numbers, let's say 13, bitwise operator 1, it will always return 1. For the odd numbers, it will always return 0.
What difference with model between them?
Well,
Something
this is
similar.
the second option. I mean, the difference is that
Not difference. Okay.
there's no huge difference. It's just another way of identifying which number is odd, which number is even.
Does it faster?
Maybe I'm not sure about that. That's a good question.
Okay.
So how can I shorten this code into a single line?
With the ternary operator. And put everything in return.
Exactly. Yep. We can definitely do that with ternary operator. Okay, so you can say Turner operator. Okay, so right here, it's going to return true, right? For even numbers. If even numbers are true, what am I going to do here? What am I returning here? I need to return this guy right here, right? If
Oh,
it's
just plus. Yeah.
but if it's false, what am I returning?
Nothing.
Accumulator.
Exactly. Yep. I need to return something there, right? I need to return accumulator. If I don't return, what's going to happen for odd numbers? I need to return something. I can return either accumulator plus 0 for odd numbers, but this 0 has no value putting it there. So it just returns accumulator. In each loop, we still need to return something, guys. In each loop, we need to still return something. Okay, so look at this. In the first loop, let's say 1. Is this number even? No, just return accumulator itself. Just return accumulator itself. If it's odd, if it's even number, then accumulator plus current and accumulator change it. Now return accumulator. Return the changed value of accumulator if it's even. If it's odd, just return accumulator itself. And we should get the same result, 56. Right? Just make it a little bit similar to what we have been returning like this, right? Accumulator plus some number with the reduce. We can move our ternary operator to current itself, right? So instead of doing this guy right here, what we can do accumulator plus, and we can do comparison right here. If this guy is true, okay, if this guy is true, then return current itself, right? If it's not true, then return 0. So if
Return current or accumulator if it's true. Yes.
so we're saying that current modulo 2, which returns 0 for even numbers. Okay, not 0 means true. If it's true, then accumulator plus current. If it's not true, then return 0. Now we're getting 56. The only difference was putting the parentheses. Somehow it should work without the parentheses, but yeah. So the parentheses for ternary operator, the whole thing right here. Right, this part right here, we just put it inside the parentheses.
Excuse me, Azamat, how can we use, for example, instead of this current, so modulo 2, the bitwise operator? Yeah,
The bitwise should
just
be
current and 1.
yeah. We just change this one to bitwise 1.
Okay, and can you
This way,
run?
not yeah. So we'll get the same result.
Okay, and so we're getting even. What is it? Even, right?
So any 67 modulo 1 was what? 1. But we're
Okay.
looking for 100 bitwise and operator 1 0. This is what we are looking for. So is current bitwise operator 1 basically returns 0 for even numbers, and not 0 means true. If it's true, return current itself. If it's not true, then return 0.
Okay.
All right, how about this one? Exact same thing, but the opposite, right? Exact same thing, but the opposite. Oh, no, don't do that. Don't do that. So current, oh, 6:05. Absolutely, yeah. Let's have a break, guys. Let's have a 10 minutes break and we'll continue. All right, cool. So calculate the sum of all the odd numbers. So for the odd numbers, the only thing we need to do what? Just remove these guys right here, right? You guys agree? Because for odd numbers, it was returning 1. For even numbers, it was returning 0. So if it's 1, then there is 1. If it's 0, then accumulator itself. Odd numbers, of course, a little bit higher, 64, then 56. Calculate the sum of the age of all the students who have an age greater than 20. Now it's going to be similar to this one right here, right? So we have students and they have ages, and we're looking for who have an age greater than 20. The console.log students to reduce accumulator current. Instead of current modulo 2, what do we put? Current that age bigger than 20. Right? In that case, accumulator plus current at age. If not, just accumulator. $370. What about these guys? REST API endpoint returns an array of user objects. First fetch the data and then filter the array to only include users who are over 18 years old, and then map the filtered array to only include their usernames. Right? URL 1, and put the URL 1 down here, okay, which returns a JSON. All right. So after resolving all these questions, we'll take a look into promises and async await way of fetching data. All right. So fetch returns a promise. Now we need to resolve the promise with that dense. Okay. That catch. Don't worry about that catch. Console.log error. So in the first promise, when it returns, fetch returns a promise, and we need to resolve it. Now it will return a response. Right? So this is a JSON response. We need to convert this JSON object to a regular object with the help of JSON method. Now we get the data. It's not that big. Still working. All right, this is our data. First fetch data and then filter the array to only include users who are over 18. Console.log filter. This is for what? Users. So U for user, U dot age. Yep, age above 18. Now we have few data. Filter array to only include users who are okay. Then map the filtered array to only include their usernames. Very easy. Just map it again. U for user again, and U dot username. Now we get only usernames. URL2, response.json, data. Use the reduce function to calculate the total number of likes for all the blog posts. Okay, likes. These are the likes. Now it's asking for the what? Total number of likes. So we're going to be using reduce. Accumulator plus current dot like. Let me remove these guys from here. Too many API calls. Console.log reduce. All right, what are we missing here?
Initial value.
Oh, initial value. Yep, thank you. Yeah, I think I need to put the initial value right over here. Why did I don't know why did I put there. Right over here, not here. Oh my goodness. Okay. And you guys remember our to locale string? You see the result with comma separated. Movies. Same process. URL2 is not defined. Okay, I forgot to change right over here. Include movies with a rating greater than or equal to 35. Which means we need to what? Filter. Movie that rating okay, there's few data now. What do we do now? Then use the map function to only include the movie titles. That map movie m dot title. That's our answer right there. What's the question here? Use the for each function to print the name and price of each product. I'll just that's a lot of luck. See that. Okay. So the interesting part of this is that we have fields. Okay, so this is an object. So the data is an object itself. Is it? Okay, it's still an array. For each object, we need to go where? Fields first. Fields that name and p that fields that price. Really? How many products do we have there? Wait a minute, I thought we had a bunch of products now. Yeah, we have a bunch of products, but what's going on with the fields? Oh, it did print out now. Interesting. So for this last question, I think it's not possible, right? Because this guy returns an object and we cannot run a reduce, right? This guy returns an object and this is for a single city, right? That's for the single city and that's for name Chicago. What it was asking is that calculate the average temperature for a specific location, right? It says you use reduce, but you can definitely you cannot use reduce for this one, right? Because reduce is only for arrays.
What I did on this, so I've got, I just create one inside of the, I create function inside of the function. I've create just one array, then just like get data in array and then use reduce.
Yeah, that's possible too. Yep, just get the temperature minimum and maximum, which is going to be in the array, two of those, and then use reduce to get the average of those to temperature. That is also possible. We will just skip this question. This is a filter out is less than 25. We're good there. What about this guy? Filter out all people whose country is not USA. If it's not USA, then is not USA. Okay, it will filter out Canada in this case. The sorting. What do you guys think about the sorting?
I don't even remember this method sort. I've never used. Is it different than filter?
It is different, but so let's say we have let's say we have numbers. Okay, by itself we can use sort array.sort, and it will give us the sorted version of the numbers. It's scattered right now, right? In different places. But using sort will sort us all of these numbers. But what if it's an object, array of objects? Is it going to do the same thing? How can we sort this based on the age? Now, for the sorting, we need to put a compare function as an argument. All right, so we need to put compare function as an argument. Right over here, data 1. And as an argument, we need to put a callback function. Right? Instead of putting callback function as in a separate place, we can put it directly over here. Now, this one, AB, okay, and then this AB is for each item, and we compare with each other in each term. Okay, so for A.H minus B.H. As you guys can see, it compares the ages and sorts based on using this sort higher order function. It is also called higher order function because we are passing another function, okay, as an argument. Or what was the definition of the higher order functions? Higher order functions are the functions who accept another function as an argument or return another function.
Can we use the arrows besides the minus or plus?
Can you use the what? Arrows?
Errors. No, arrows. A.H and then arrow like bigger or smaller B.H.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. So
Bigger, okay. For example.
It's not sorting 25, 30.
Okay.
Usually goes by minus.
It just subtracts and then compares if it's a negative value or positive, and then it
Exactly.
decides which one is bigger.
Mm-hmm.
Can you please explain one more time what is A, what is B? I just really first time see this sort method.
So with the numbers, right? We have array of numbers.
Mhm.
By itself, if you use sort for the numbers, it works fine. It will sort the numbers, right? From smallest to the biggest.
Ah, okay.
But what happens if we have array of objects? How do we sort this? Now, if you sort array of objects without the comparison, right? Comparison function, what's going to happen? It's not going to sort.
Just
It's
like
not sorting. It's just grabbing the same data and putting it in there. It's not sorting by the age or by anything that's a number in this object. It's not specifying anything. In order to sort these, objects based on the age, we need to provide to the sort a comparison function. Okay, some sort of a callback function that can do the trick to compare every single object with each other and provide the sorted version.
Okay. A, A, what is A? Is all objects A and all objects B too? I mean, gosh. What is A?
AB is for, so, yes, A dot H, right? A and B represent each item,
Okay,
each object.
okay. And by minus, how did you sort? 25, 25 minus.
So
I can't catch how.
Quick question. This sort method sorting by number. I mean, which number is bigger by alphabetical, and that's it, or something else, or it can sort for something else.
well, we can sort these objects by their names too. By their names, if for instance, let's say this one was Adam, okay? So, but it's not sorted right now. All right. So, sorting by the name, by the string, not a number. It's we cannot use this minus. Right? We will not be able to use minus. For that, we can use give me 1 second, guys. So yeah, as I was saying, for comparing the numbers, we will use A minus B as the return value. Okay, but what happens if we try to sort array of objects? Then we need to modify our compare compare function. This is callback function. So what we can do here, it's a little bit different than numbers. Okay, it's a little bit different than numbers. So let's think about the names, right? For that, you can put if statement right here. I mean, we can work on if else statement, right? If we can say a dot name, okay. So the we can put the comparison bigger, greater, or smaller sign, okay. What happens if we compare some letters like this? Apple bigger than, let's say, banana. It is comparing by alphabetical order, right? So apple, banana. Trying to understand why it's returning false, because it should be. It's because of this. Kidding me. So not to confuse you guys. I don't want to confuse you guys. All right. Just understand that for the numbers, we just use sort by itself. But if we have array of objects and we still try to compare the numbers only in the array of objects, we have a comparison function, and we can just do if they are numbers only. All right, if they're numbers only, we can return a.age and b.age. Right. So this is for ascending order from smaller to larger. If you would like to return it back, like in a descending order, you can do b.age minus a.age. Now it will reverse it back. It will start from 32, 25, and 20, descending order, from the largest to the smallest. Now, if we are trying to compare not the numbers, but the objects, and the strings, okay, then it's a little bit different. Now, the thing about the strings is that we need to modify this compare function as like this. If a dot, for instance, name, okay, a dot name bigger than b dot name, then we can return 1. Else, if a dot name smaller than b dot name, then we can return -1. If they are equal to each other, else, then we can return 0. As you guys can see, Adam Johnson comes first, but it was coming the last. Okay, if I change this guy to Tom, and this one to, let's say, Wayne, then we will get Adam Johnson, Tom Doe, and Wayne Smith based on the letters.
But how does it work? Can you explain?
Yeah.
Excuse me, Azamat.
Yes.
Yeah, I found out the method locally compare for the alphabetically. So there is a method for we can use for strings.
Oh, you mean like this?
Yeah, I send it to the chat.
A dot name local compare B dot name.
Yeah, it looks like it's a new method, local compare.
So this array that brought up sort. Compare function. Return value. If it's bigger than 0, sort A after B, in example B, A. If it's less than 0, sort A before B, in example A, B. Keep original order of A and B. This is what they're saying in there. usage for sort function. So A is less than B by some ordering criterion. If A is less than B, right? All right. So if A is greater than B, then return 1. If A is less than B, then return -1. And based on this return for the sort function, it will do this sorting right here. If it's bigger than 0, which is 1, returning 1, then it will sort A after B. Basically, B comes first, A comes next. If it's less than 0, which is -1, we're returning -1. Based on that comparison, it puts A before B. If it's equal, right, just return 0, then keep original order of A and B. So every single for each item in the array, we are running this compare function, and for each comparison, we're comparing the first item with the next coming item, right? So the first item is A, and the next item is the next one. Basically, we're comparing with each other. If A.name bigger than B.name, return 1. If it's A.name less than B.name, then return -1. Okay, so if it's bigger than 1, return BA. Put B first, then A next. If it's less than 1, put A first, and then B next. If it's equal to 0, then just keep in order. Do not swap them. Do not change the ordering of those objects. Just keep the object in the same spot. The comparator does not mutate the objects being compared or any external state, which is true. This is important because there is no guarantee when and how the comparator will be called. Comparing numbers. Compare numbers instead of strings, right? The compare function can subtract B from A. The following function will sort the array in ascending order. Sorting array of objects. The array of objects can be sorted by comparing the value of one of their properties. Sort by value. If it is a number, by the value, we can do A.value minus B.value. Sort by name. If it's a string, then we can do A.name. You can definitely convert this to uppercase, all the letters, or to lowercase, and make the comparison. Right? A.name less than name B, return -1. If the other way around, return 1. And if there's names must be equal, then return 0. Is that what you were talking about right here, Kai? Local compare?
Yeah, which I use for strings, yeah.
Well, I think this can also be done.
But how to deal with Cyrillic or some other characters?
Oh, Cyrillic
Yeah,
alphabets?
yeah.
Other alphabets? Oh, that's a good question, yeah. I've never seen that translation or sorting the mapped array containing the reduced values. It's using exact same thing. A.value, B.value. This sorting is important when we have a table of students, okay? And on the table, you're trying to sort by name. If you click that column, the name column, it will sort from ascending order. If you click it again, it will sort in a descending order, right? From bottom to top, top to bottom. Same thing goes for the numbers too. If you have a column that's only the numbers, we can just use sort by the value and then regenerate the UI for the students. I don't have any example UI right now, but just keep in mind that if you would like to sort the numbers, you can either just run the sort by itself or with the compare function as an argument and a minus b. That's for the numbers only. If there is array of objects, this is how we sort array of objects. And this is comparison function.
Yeah, excuse me, Azamat, can you take a look to the link which I sent to chat? Looks like it's a string locally compare. Is it can be used for different languages? For the local languages, looks like something like that.
Local compare.
Based-
Method of string values returns a number indicating whether the string comes before or after, or is the same as the given string in sort order. I think that's that might be the case, yeah. So it says with the accents lowercase, it says no accents uppercase. A dot local compare b, it's giving a 1. A dot local compare b, sensitive to base. I guess you can change the language over here.
Yeah, we can use ru instead of en, and it will sort by the Russian alphabet.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we don't have to go too much detail on this sorting, okay? Just the only thing that you guys need to know is that when we compare, I mean, when we sort numbers, we can either use sort as by itself or sort a minus b. With the array of objects, if you are sorting the values, same thing, a dot h minus b dot h, or if by the strings, in this case name, we can do this compare function as a callback function. Okay, so it might be confusing to understand what's actually sort doing under the hood, but sometimes we just need to accept the fact that if we return some sort of number, in this case 1, it will be sorted like this. If we return -1, it will be sorted by AB. If it is returned 0, it will keep that object in place. Okay, so right here, compare function AB return value and sorting order.
Does it compares by the Unicode, by ASCII value? Like if it's lesser on than because they ordered in ASCII table with the alphabetical order already.
Right. But the thing that we're returning it a hard-coded number here, right? So -1 and 1 and 0.
I think it's the same as with the integers, with the integer, because you return either negative or the positive, or you return the equal if it's 0. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's an ASCII number of A, for example, it's gonna be smaller than ASCII number B, right? It's gonna be coming first in ascending order.
Ask a table.
So if you do descending, b minus a, and it's going to be a smaller.
Yes, it's pretty logical.
Yep, yep. This. Yeah, I think
Alright.
it's just taking the first letter, first character only, right? For this order, or it's gonna be taking all the.
I think it's taking a whole by the
whole.
but the compare operator is like written like built in.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah.
The compare function is built in. Yep.
No, I mean operator arrow. It's also writes, yes. It's like you have to write for the strings and for the numbers.
All right,
And
let's.
can we override the operator method in a class like for objects, or we had to write like compare to methods?
You want to override this function right here?
No. I mean like if you write custom class, you can override the arrow function operator to like simplify operations.
We can do that a little bit later. All right, just
Okay.
some people I assume that it's still confused. Okay, but yeah, just the main thing is that for comparing array of objects with the string they contain will be this compare function we need to edit inside our sort. Otherwise, it will not sort. Okay, so we just did it over here for this question right here. Yeah.
Yeah, based on this, A is 97 and this Z is, yeah, it's a bigger number. It's ASCII code.
It is a comparison, yes. So but in here, it's taking the uppercase values, right? So it says a.name uppercase, and right here, uppercase is also 65, 66. It just increases. All right, so age, ascending order, and alphabetical order with that comparison function. Let's take a look at this current inventory. Get names of brands, we can do that with map. Get names of brands that only consist of single word. We can also filter it out, right? But how do I make sure that if it's a single word or double word? How can I distinguish these names have a single word or double word in the name?
Look for space. No.
Look for space. Yeah, we can definitely do that. You're talking about like if name includes this empty space?
Oh yeah, yes.
I think we can convert to, we had like some method to convert string to array.
Includes, oops, empty. Let me comment this one out. Where is my console log over here? This is true. Yep, we can definitely do that. What's the other ways?
Yeah, I did a split and then check the length. If it's less than,
That's
if
the good one.
it's one or more, just yeah. So
Oh yeah, that's the good one. Split by what?
By space, yeah.
Okay. If you
And
split, you have two.
and then and check the length. If it's less than or equal 1, yeah, it's 2. If it's less than or equal 1, we need only one word, right, to return that. If it's 2 or more, don't
Yes.
don't put it.
Asking word only consists of single word. So basically, if it's less than 2, right? If it's less than 2 or
Just equal 1.
1 and equal to 1, yes. Less than equal to 1. There's 2 options. We can definitely get that single word names. Connect all of these brands names into one string with the comma separated. How can we do that?
Which one? It's C or D?
See right here.
Yeah.
Connect all of these brand names into one string with comma separated.
Oh, split, join.
Split and join. Yes.
Are we going to finish these tasks in this class, Azamat? I mean, in the last hour?
We could, yeah.
Okay.
There's still a lot of questions.
Because I actually, I don't want to do this project. I just want to do it my own, because if we will do it together, yes, it will be very big
Right.
spoil.
So yeah, let's we can stop right here then, right? We can stop right here.
In my case, if other guys wants, I mean, if you wanna do, I'm just gonna make a break for me to skip this part.
Yeah,
So
let's take a break.
you
Если,
guys
если собираюсь закончить, то я, скорее всего, просто не буду смотреть, имею в виду эту часть, чтобы самостоятельно потом делать.
I completely agree on that. Let's do let's take 5 minutes break, and when we come back, we'll do async await. Right?
Azamat, can you please send the link for Replit in Zoom chat?
Sure. Cool. Let's take a look at new options for fetching data in JavaScript. Okay. So first of all, we learned about promises, right? When we handle promises in JavaScript, we were chaining the call to the function, right? We were using .10 promise chaining to get the data or to fetch the to catch the error. We were fetching our data like this, and if I save it, right, we were getting the data. Now, catch, it's a built-in function. It's a built-in method in JavaScript that returns either successful fetching or returns a failure. Right? That's how we catch our errors. What that means is that if we are able to reach out to this URL, then we can get our data successfully, right? We can convert that JSON return from the URL, get the JSON return, convert to regular object, and from there we can use that data. If somehow we cannot reach to our URL, then which part we execute? This fetch part, right? It says get not found, the page not found. Console logging that error. Okay, so this is how we used to fetch data. Some of the applications or some of the companies still are using, but the new way of fetching data is async and await. Async, await. This syntax was introduced in 2017 as part of ES7, right? And it is definitely a special syntax in our JavaScript code. It will make our code more cleaner and clearer. Now, if we can use that, then chaining promises is fine, but let's see how we can convert this fetching into async await option, right? So first of all, in order to use async, we need to convert this whatever the function we create, regular functions, into async function, because awaiting we cannot use without async function. Okay, so basically what we can do here, constant response is the response right here, right? And then we need to await fetching, right? Await fetch. And now constant data is from the second promise, right? That is equal to, we need to await this part too, because it's promise, right? This that then also returns a promise. Now we need to resolve it. Await rest that JSON. And now we can console log our data, right? That, as I was saying, await can be used only inside async function. For that, we need to create async function. There's two ways of creating async function. First one is async, and put the function name, get data, and then put things over here. And we can invoke this function, get data. Right, we're still fetching our data. The second option is would be using arrow function. Now, if you use arrow function, it will be a little bit different. Constant get data is equal to arrow function, right? Now, instead of putting async right here, we don't put async over here. The JavaScript will complain about it. Where we put async is right before these parentheses, to make sure that this, whatever is coming next, this function is async function. Right? But the thing about this one is that we're not using that catch. We're not catching the data. We're not catching the error. Right? What is this response is returning? Let's check it out. Console.log response. Right? Console.log response. It is an object, response object, and it has something called rest.status. Right? Rest.status. Now, this is HTTP status. And if you look at the HTTP status codes, there's a bunch of HTTP status codes. And 200, oops, not the Wikipedia. Who trusts Wikipedia? Right? So the 200 means, okay, the request succeeded. The result, meaning of success, depends on the HTTP code. All right, cool. So based on this one right here, right? If status is okay, right? We can, there's two options, as I was saying. If the status is okay, all right, then assign the data and console log the data. If status is not okay, right? If status is not okay, based on this right here, if res dot okay, right? Res dot okay is true, right? If I put something like that doesn't exist, what am I gonna get for console.log res? Res okay is false, right? If it's succeeded, it will provide you okay, it's true. If it's false, if some sort of error happened, whether you cannot reach out to this URL or URL doesn't exist, or you're providing something else to this URL wrong, then it will return an error with response that okay, false. But if it succeeded, it will always return status code 200, which is successful. And what is 404? You guys probably heard 404. 404 does not, it doesn't exist, not found. The page not found. All right. So the important pages are the status codes are 404, and we also have 500, which cannot reach out to the server, right? Internal server error, something is wrong with the server that hosting this URL, hosting this website. Okay, there's a bunch of the codes between 100 to 199 is information responses, 200 to 299 is successful responses, and from 500 to 599 server error responses related to the server, not the URL itself. Something is wrong with the server that hosting that website. But let's focus on response that okay part. If response is okay, then we can continue with our code. Else, console.log, display the error. Something went wrong. Okay, something went wrong. But there's better way. There is better way we can handle the error with async await, and that's gonna be try catch block. Okay, with using the try catch block, we can achieve the same thing as we have right here. Try catch block. This is built in JavaScript, which will provide the try block. The try block, if it's successful, then we can continue with our code. Right? If it's successful, then we can continue with our code. Let me just copy these guys over here. Right? Try to reach out to this URL. And if you get the data, then you can continue with URL. And if there's an error, then we can console log this error. Right? So now, to do not found, that the URL doesn't found. If I say to-dos, now we have the data and we are able to console log the data.
How did you change the access code? Status code? Oh, you just typed the wrong URL.
Yes, I just typed the wrong URL.
Oh, I thought you just like slash and then give it a status.
No. So I changed this JSON placeholder, right, to something else. Then it says that something went wrong. We're resolving this a catch block. In regular chain promises, we were catching the error right over here. Similarly, the best way to catch the error or dealing with the successful data is using the try-catch block. All right. So how about
I have a question. Does it throw the error?
it automatically
It
throw
yeah,
the
yeah,
error?
except only the 200 status, or it throws in a like I don't know how to explain it.
This
It
try
only not throwing, don't throw the error if the status code is 200, or it throws the n. How? Yeah. Okay.
No, ask the question.
Она, короче, give me a sec, I will translate.
Yeah, Azamat, while Nursultan is translating. So what is so in this case when we use this async method, we are not using promises, right, anymore? What's gonna be doing so with promises?
So we're not doing promises. This is new syntax to convert these promises into a new version.
Okay, so promises are already kind of old, right? Obsolete because of this async method?
Yes, because of the async and await.
Yes, async, okay.
So await means basically, so before this promise right here finishes, can we reach out to the data? No, right?
Yes.
The fetch,
Yeah,
we
of course.
fetch the URL and then which returns a promise. Now we need to resolve the promise, okay? And we convert that JSON data into the object that we can use. And this also returns a promise. And now we're resolving that promise, okay? And then constant
Mhm.
like that. And we can catch the error like that. Now, similarly, everything goes line by line. This has to be finished, then we can run this one, right? If there's an error, then we can run this one. So similarly, with the async and await, this has to be finished before we do the next line right here.
Okay, it's wait. So await is waiting, right?
Yes, it's waiting. You see that constant.log?
Mm-hmm.
Constant.log data. It is waiting to fetch the data, but as you guys remember, constant.log is a synchronous, right? It's just constant.log. But this fetching is async. No matter, even if it's a synchronous code, it will still wait for this async code to finish because of this await. It's wait for this promise to be finished, and then get the JSON, and then await. Make sure that this promise is ran, like converted to regular object, and now our data is ready to go, and now we're console logging it.
Okay, and then Azamat, so without try catch, you were so checking for the status code before, but here you are not checking.
We're not checking. This try catch automatically throws the error if there is something wrong with the data. Right? If I change this URL now.
But what if there is an intentional code, yeah, for example, so other than 200, 201, for example, or 300, something like that.
So those are just success codes though, right? Successful responses.
So yeah, within 200 are successful, yeah.
This part will fetch only the errors.
Only 400, so
which status codes? I mean, like it will catch
400, 500?
400 and 500, yes.
Between the 400 and 5, okay.
400.
No, and 600, right?
Right, 599.
Okay.
There is no 600, I think. Okay, yeah, only 599.
Okay,
It's up
smaller
to
and equal than 600.
All right. So as we said that this fetches a promise. Now, what is the promise? Like, how do we create a promise manually? So the promise, just like the object and array, right? And strings and numbers. When we create an array, we can create the array just literally constant array like this, right? Then the next option was constant array is equal to new array like that, and then provide some options in there, right? The arguments, the data. Same way, we can create our own promise. Constant promise, for instance, or my promise, let's just say my promise is equal to new promise. Right? New promise. So now this promise accepts a callback function. Right? This promise accepts callback function. And this callback function accepts two arguments. Okay? This will accept two arguments. First one is resolve. The second one is reject. All right? These are basically methods that belongs. These are our functions actually. Okay? These are functions. All right? So right over here, let's say we can say constant a is equal to let's say true, right? And we say if a, which is true, then we can return resolve. Else we can return reject. And resolve, we can provide a data success, right? And reject, we can also provide data as something went wrong. Or just say failure. Now, just like we, as we said, fetch, this is promise, right? Just like it was created by internally, it was created by new promise. Just like we can resolve the fetch promise with the .then, we can do the same thing with our own my promise. Right? My promise and .then. Okay, .then. Now right here, response, console.log, response. Or if you'd like to, so when you do .then, it will return the success part. If it's resolving successfully, then it will return in the first promise right here. If you are trying to catch the error, right, in the reject part, it will be displayed in the error. With the .catch promise chaining. Console.log error. Right? As you guys can see, it's a success because our A is true. What if it's false? Now it's failure. Now it's failure. So these promises have three states actually. Right? The first one is pending. Pending. The second one is success and a failure. Okay. For the success, the actual naming for the success is actually fulfill it. Right? And the actual naming for failure is rejected. Basically, fulfill it means, okay, successfully return the data. And depending by itself right here, my promise right here. If I just console log it, promise by itself, right? Save it and promise. It's rejected right now, but
true.
right here. The promise by itself, initially, without resolving it, it has a pending. It has a pending. Okay, and let me bring it back. If it says true right here, if I put true, then we'll return resolve success. Okay, now if I say dot then response console.log, that is the success. That's the fulfill it. The promise has been fulfilled, and that's why it's returning us success. But if it's rejected, then that's the third status. That's the third state of promise.
Mhm.
The same way we are using the fetch, right? The fetch either can successfully bring the data from the URL that we are trying to fetch the data, or some sort of problem occurred, error occurred, and it cannot fetch the data. That's the rejected status right here. And rejected state, we resolve it with that catch part, right? But if it's fulfilled successfully, then we resolve with that then part. Okay, so if you would like to make it exact same thing as fetch, right? Fetch is a method, but we're not invoking this method right here. Then what we can do here, instead of constant my promise, we can grab this guy right here, and we can say arrow function, right? Return new promise, right? Arrow function, return new promise. Which one? Oh, we're console logging over here, right? Return new promise. However, since my promise is a function, right? It's a function, and now we need to invoke it. Once we invoke it, it is returning a new promise. And now, since it's returning a new promise, then we need to do that then promise chaining to resolve the data or catch the error. Now it's success, right? It's kind of similar to what we have with the fetch, but it's custom made.
Okay, yeah, thank you for explaining the math. And this second then which we were using for fetch, is it kind of continuation of the first response, right? To get the data.
Exactly. Yes. That's
okay. Okay. If it's promise fulfilled, then we can use that then so to get the data.
Right. So there's another way to fetch the data, but that is a third-party package. Right? That's third-party way. This fetch is built in JavaScript. We can fetch the data directly like this, putting the URL. But there's also one other third-party package called Axios. Okay, Axios. Oh my goodness. Axios is a third-party package that helps us fetching data. Not only fetching data, but applying all sorts of methods that belongs to HTTP requests. Okay, so now when we are fetching data, let me bring it back, this guy right here, because it's related. When we are fetching data, fetch actually accepts two arguments. Fetch, okay, argument 1, argument 2. Argument 1 and argument 2. By default, let me put this URL outside. Right, and then put the URL down here. Okay, by default, if you don't put anything right here as a second argument, the fetch will understand that, oh, okay, this is get method. Right, there are HTTP methods that you guys need to understand, and those are will be provided into the fetch as a second argument, right? So there are methods get, delete, patch, right? And what else do we have? Post, right? Get is for just the fetching the data from URL. Deleting is we have to provide the second argument, right? So for get, no need for second arg, right? But for others, for others, need to provide second arg. Now, what are we saying is a second argument? If you don't provide second argument, as I was saying, is just a get method. But you can also provide second argument for get too. Here's the thing. When we are fetching, right? When we're fetching, the second argument is an object. And usually we call it options. Okay, options. And we need to provide a method. What kind of method? As a string. By default, if you don't provide it, it means that this method has a get and it will do exact same thing. Right? It will do exact same thing. Now we're still fetching the data with providing the method get. But if you don't provide it, that's fine. For the get, it will understand that if you didn't provide the second argument, it is a get method. But for other methods, as I was saying, delete, patch, post, because of the fact that we're going to be sending some data into the database, right? Into the API endpoint, we need to provide the second argument, right? For let's say delete, it's going to be delete as a method, right? Or post or patch, whatever. Okay, but in addition to these methods, delete, patch, post, we need to provide the data, and the data is sent inside the body. The data is sent inside the body, right? And usually what we send as a data inside the body is JSON stringified version, right? Usually we do JSON stringify. And for instance, if you are sending an ID, is an ID, for instance, okay? Constant ID is equal to 100. And we are sending the ID, let's say delete. If you send this ID with the delete method, it will go down to the API endpoint and it will delete that data that has an ID of 100. If you are trying to update, then you can put patch as a method and provide the updated data like this, like a new data, or the updated version. Let's say you are changing an object and name, and the name is changed from Alex to John, for instance. And you provide the data over here. If you are posting a new data, then you need to provide a new object to be saved in the database. All right. By default, if you're not putting anything, that's going to be get, or we can also put get over here, but you're going to be putting for nothing, right? So it's too late.
The body is the data we're sending via the request, right?
So with the request, yes. Let's say you have a form, right? Let's say you have a form.
But why does it called fetch then? We don't fetch anything. Or
it's called fetch, yes. Which but the fetch built-in method is used with other methods too. Not only don't pay attention, focus on the name. It's just fetch helps with the HTTP requests. Okay.
okay.
Fetch, but the distinguishing thing about this is that when you provide a second argument and you can change the method, right, to distinguish between these methods.
But then with the response, but then we don't need a response, right? With some methods like with the delete, or we should always check the status code. If it's deleted or not, like.
Well, technically, you don't need the response for some of the there's the response for some of the methods. Yep. For getting it, yeah, you definitely need the you definitely need the response, right?
Yes.
For deleting it, you can respond back the data as, all right, successfully, like usually they respond like this, an object, okay? For delete, say status, success, and status success message, user has been deleted successfully.
Oh, there is a 202 accepted and 201 for insert.
You can as a response, some of the API endpoints will respond like this.
It depends on the API, right?
It depends on the API endpoint, yes. All right, so let's say I do have a Thunder client. All right, and with the Thunder client, I don't need this new request. Okay, so new request, Thunder client, JSON placeholder. Oops, JSON placeholder to-dos. Send. See, the status code is okay, 200, and this is my result. So if I put to-dos /ID1, it will get the data for me.
What
But
if we change the method?
Yes, some of the API and we can, not sure if it will allow though. We can, let's see. So delete to-dos 1, right? In the body, usually they accept as a parameters right here, query param. Right? You don't have to provide.
jQuery, right? Or
Yeah,
not?
it's called the query param. The jQuery is different.
Oh, okay.
jQuery is completely different than query params. Okay, this is related to API endpoints. Now, with the delete, and this API endpoint will check the last the parameter as an it will accept an ID, and it will delete the user. But let's see, it will. Okay, it didn't. Maybe it did. Maybe it did not. Let's try to get the user again. Get this to dos. It will still getting it, right? So let me try to find. For instance, users right here. All right, cool. We can use this guy right here. Okay, copy this guy. So instead of displaying get users, I can get this one right here. Right, we have lots of users. So based on the ID, right, I can provide users /26 and send it. All right, it is still returning the user that has been deleted. Okay, as a response value, when I'm deleting it, as a response data, when I console log it, it is returning the data that has been deleted.
It's returning the data but for what?
That has been deleted. But if I check till 26, oh, sorry, I didn't change the delete though. Yeah, it's still getting it, right? But if I change it to delete method and try to delete with the user with the 26 ID, send it. See, this delete method is still returning the user that has been deleted. That's how this API endpoint works. You don't have to return this object. You don't have to return this object. The object that you can return is this one right here. Status, success, message, user has been deleted successfully. That's it. You don't have to return the whole object The whole user
Oh, okay. It depends on how the API works.
depends on how it was designed as a backend API endpoint, right? How
Okay.
it designed the backend, it depends on that. Whatever you return, it's fine. You don't have to return anything, right? But let's check if that user has been deleted. 26, see, not found. The user has,
Yeah, cool.
if I refresh the page, the 26 is gone. All right. How do I update this data, for instance?
Post. Oh, yes, post.
It's going to be patch, right? Patch. Now 26 is gone. Let's work on the 27. All right. Now 27. The thing about is that we need to provide a JSON content, and inside the JSON content, let's say first name. First name, but it needs to be covered in double quotes when you provide the JSON, right? And it doesn't have to be the comma. There should be a comma. Both of these key and the values has to be JSON when you put inside this, of course, the Thunder client. Okay, but of course, why it has to be JSON? Because when we are providing the data into delete method, post, and patch, we said we need to what? Stringify, right? This is the stringified version of the actual object or data, right? Instead of Oren, let's change to Alex. Alex Smitham, right? If I refresh the page, now it changed to Alex. Okay, it is changed to Alex. It's weird that we have passwords displayed on this one, but it's just fake passwords, right? So what happens if I post it? Now, for the post, I have to provide all the data that I can get. All right, I need to provide all the data that I can get. Excluding this ID, because ID is generated by these guys itself. All right, created at, I don't have to provide this created at because that will be generated by this API endpoint. Okay. And the password, let's just keep it the same. Avatar, that's fine. I hope it's not a girl. Birth date 2024. Let's keep it as it is. And we don't need this, comma, the last one. All right, and then we need to do post and use delete the last portion. And this is the URL. And URL changes for each method. Okay, for delete, you have to provide at the end of the URL. For delete, you have to provide the ID. Okay, for delete and patching. Delete, patch, you need to provide the query parameters. You need to provide the query prompt. But for get and the post, you don't have to provide the query prompt because we're going to be using the same URL and the API endpoint will handle the rest. Post.
But what if we have like multiple parameters? They are using like a вопрос знак and then equal, etc. Yeah,
Yes.
but how to use it? Like
Those are most of the time, okay, when we fill out the form, right? When we fill out a form, the best way to send out the data is inside the body, right? Let's say the constant object name, you're creating a new data. Alex, age, right? Age, let's say 24, right? So we're going to send this data, the stringified version of data object. Of course, it's not for delete. Okay, it's not for delete. It's ID. That's going to be for posting. Of course, it has to be capitalized.
And it's gonna work?
So we need to provide this simplified version of object. All right. Now, this data is coming from what? From the form that we are filling it out when we are signing up some website. Now, there's another way to provide this data, and that is at the end of URL. Okay. So instead of providing the data inside the body, you can also provide the data with what? As a
Parameters or you said some like term.
that was
Param or I don't remember.
Query parameter.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, it's also query prompts. Yeah. So what you can do here, so name, right? You can also say a question mark. The query prompts all also start with the question mark if you provide any name. So name, for instance, you say Alex and age is equal to 24. You can provide the data, but it's not suggested to provide the data like this, right? Because it will be visible when you are sending this data like this. Right? Let's say you also sign up to a website and you provide them what? A password. Does it make sense to provide the password here? No. The safest way is
Azamat, I believe when you use post, it will not show query parameter. It's gonna hide, right?
Only
So
for
if you put
get. Yeah.
So if you put get, it's gonna be showing query parameter.
Or it also varies.
no with whatever you provide over here, it will be seen in the URL. But the post,
he was asking for the like post by itself that doesn't show it in a URL.
Yeah, it's gonna hide
Yeah.
when you use post.
Or it's not like that.
no,
Yeah, I think.
if you are providing a URL like this, it's not going to hide anything.
Oh,
but it is not recommended to send a query like this. It is not recommended to send a query like this. What is
but
recommended?
sometimes we use it, right? Some websites.
That's the wrong way, I think. Show all the data. Yeah, I think they're using so they're using get to send the data.
Yeah, for the get method, you can use that to send out some data. And
like if you go to some categories in a movies website, it's gonna show you like a //
right, but sending a new data with some sort of private data belongs to the user itself. It is always recommended to send inside the body, right, with the post.
Do we need to encrypt it or it just send it by JSON?
It is already encrypted. The post method is the data that you are providing inside the body will not be seen by anybody.
Okay.
It is the safest way. Okay. So do you guys think this will be generated now? Oh my goodness, there's a lot of. Let me decrease this user size to 5 and refresh the page. There should be only 5 users. Right? Alex is still there. Now, if I send post users and I providing my new data inside the body and send it. Okay. Now status code 201 created. It's not 200. Now it's sending to 201. It is still informational message, right? It is still in informational status code. Now, if I refresh the page, now I get my new data, and it's providing the created, and it's providing the ID for me.
But how do the response sends the videos or some pictures, audios, music? It also sends it by URL?
I believe so, yeah. Just like the avatar is sending the URL, probably it's sending the link to that video, or
But how it works actually? Like the URL is on a server. Yeah, but
if the URL is
we don't need to send it by the internet.
No. So you the data that contains is a string version, right? Everything is a string. And
Yeah.
the avatar is also a string, but it's HTTP. But in the UI side, in the client side, we have some HTML tags that can display the URLs, right?
Yes.
How do you display the video in the UI? What was the HTML tag?
I don't remember. I remember for the video we have to provide the URL too.
The video tag right here. Right? Try it yourself. You can either provide a video that is locally sourced right here, because this one is the
It's gonna also use the get method to get the video.
Of course, every data that you are getting is stored as a string, but the
but how it for video works? It's also like sending this URL to get the video, or how?
I think it's just sending the location in the database, so address in the database, how to get that video or photo. When you're uploading the video or photo, it's going to be stored in some database, and it's going to be just having the link.
So we don't actually send the actual video.
we're not going to be sending actual video. We're not sending actual video. We are basically sending a link to that video, right? And
Yes.
wherever that video is stored is
Yeah.
accessible by public, and you can reach to that video from anywhere in the world.
Oh, so I can just oh yeah, I got it. Thank you. I just thought it's actually sending the video or audio and you store it somewhere.
So YouTube API, for instance, for devs, data API, search for content. I wish I could see what type of data it sends out. Implementation guide, for instance. Oh, we need to get the authorization credentials first in order to API endpoint. What I'm assuming is that we will get some sort of a JSON like this, and it will contain every single data that for each video that is stored in YouTube, or if you are trying to working on the API data that's provided by the Netflix or whatever, you will not get, of course, the hundreds. I mean, if you get the video itself into your computer, right? If you fetch the videos itself, then think about it. One video probably like 300 or 500 megabyte, and if there's data contains 1,000 videos, your computer cannot handle that amount
Yes,
of.
but we need to actually provide always a connection. Like it has to send data from the video always. Not?
It does, yeah. That's what the I mean, as I showed right here, right? You don't have to have provide this a relative path to the video. You can always put what? The URL, and it will still show the video. Okay, just like we were providing the relative path to the images. Okay. Your browser does not support the video tag. That's if it's by default. Okay, cool. So next class, I'm thinking about doing a CRUD application. All right, we're gonna have a list of students with the name, first name, last name, etc. And we'll have some actions for those students, like we did the To-do app, right? Deleting, editing, and updating or creating a new one. But it's gonna be CRUD application. So you guys heard the term CRUD, as you guys know, right? So
Update, delete. Oh, yeah.
the methods basically, right?
Create,
For
read,
create, read is for getting, update is for patching, and deleting is for deleting it. Create is for posting, actually, yeah.
And we will use API or no?
We will use API endpoint. That's probably one of
From
these.
the Mac mock. Oh,
Mock API, yes. Yeah, so sign up to this mock API, and you guys can create multiple projects.
Azamat, just a question. So we have the lyrics that fetch API related project, and when we are trying to get the data, it's blocking because we are fetching. So we are trying to get the data from our local machine, and it says that what is that croc or what is that blocking CRUD? I don't remember that.
Course?
Oh, so course, right? Or cross.
Sharing, yes.
That is blocking our access to get the data. How can, yeah, so yeah, this one, course, this guy is blocking. So how can we get the data from APIs to our local machines, to our local environment?
Again, it depends on the API endpoint that you are trying to reach, right? So for instance, if you are not able to reach out to API endpoint, and they will provide you with some sort of
how to get it?
No, whether you can include the headers, right? Functional overview. The cross-origin resource sharing standard works by adding in new HTTP headers, right? One more thing that I would like to mention here is that we have method and we have body, okay? And usually we have headers, right? Headers is an object too. Headers is an object. It's provided in the options object, right? This whole thing is an options, and it has method, headers, and the body JSON string file. Now, right over here, some of the API endpoints, they will require you to put some headers, and the headers would be usually for. Let me check one more thing. Usually, did I had it over here? Headers, let me see, headers. Content type application JSON. Okay, it basically tells that we're providing a JSON data inside this header. I mean inside this body, but you don't have to put it for most of the applications that you are creating, but most of the time, some of the API endpoints require you to put this content type, what kind of content type it is, and what is allow. There's another thing called allow. I think it will show me if I start typing right here. Allow. No, it's not showing. Allow. Access control allow origin. All right, access control allow origin, and usually course related to this one. You can either provide this Chelsea, of course, has to be like this and do accept everything. Okay, origin, whatever it's coming from, the request, just allow that that origin. Okay, or you can also put some sort of IP address or the host name of the specific websites that can have access to reach out the data that's stored in that API endpoint. Right, but there's also one thing called course. Course provided right here.
That mode, right?
Oh, that's the mode. Yes, sorry about that. Yeah, it's been a long time since I did. That's the mode.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did no course, but it's not returning data.
You did no course, but it's still not returning the data.
Yeah, it's returning empty, so with no course. But I didn't know how to put this allow control, allow origin. Yeah, so allow origin this star. Yeah, I will try with that. Yeah, thank you for this.
Try with that, yes. But one other thing is that to keep in mind, guys, not all of the websites allow to get the data, and most of the websites have. So most of the API endpoints have limited access. All right, they would probably like a daily, probably like you can send out 100 requests or 50 requests. Exceeding that request will give you a course error. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
But if you use mock API, you will not have any issues with that. Right? Mock API will provide you allow you to create one project. Right? But if you pay $35 per year, you can generate multiple projects.
Oh, is it for free? For free is just one project?
It's free for one project, yes.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Lets you easily mock up APIs, generate custom data, and perform operations on it using RESTful interface. All right, guys, that's it for today. But next class, we will try to do a CRUD application, unless you guys do it with some other instructor too, before we do that.
Okay, thank you for the class.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Have a good night. I will see you guys next week.
Yeah, good night.